One of the things we saw in our recent work with our weather data is even with the same data, we can produce different chart types. Which chart type we produce, which plot or graph type, is going to be more about the question or our goal than it is going to be about our data. And so this is a perfect example of what we're looking at right here. If we want to compare high and low temperatures and how those change from month to month, we're probably going to be more interested in creating a bar chart like this. But if we want to see how reliable and how related low and high temperatures are to each other across a year, then maybe a scatter plot is more appropriate. I'm bringing this up again because we're going to start exploring more chart types, but we can't possibly cover them all in this short class. And if you go into your insert menu in the chart pane here, you can see that for any particular chart type, we have many, many different options here. And we're going to explore a few more of those, and we're going to use a new data set to do that. But a key thing I want you to be thinking about is what your goal is, what question you want to answer. That will largely drive what chart type you should use. And so even though Excel can recommend some charts for you, it's really up to you to make sure that you're using the right chart for your goal and for your question. So here's the new data we're going to be working with and the two new chart types I'm going to ask you to produce. I'm showing you these chart types now to give you some guidance on what they should look like, but I'm only going to leave it up to you to make these chart types now that you have some experience creating charts in Excel. Let's first talk about the data. Here you can see our new data set, and this is for a number of years in the United States in the middle of the 20th century. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at expenditures by US households across a few different categories of expense: food and tobacco, personal care, health, etc. We're going to look at these data using two different chart types. On the left, we're going to be using a pie chart, which you're probably familiar with. And on the right, we're going to be using a stacked bar chart or column chart, which may be new to you, but you're about to get some experience with it. Now remember, I'm going to be asking you to do this on your own, but I'm going to give you a little bit of instruction, and then afterwards we'll check up on how you did, and I'll give you a few pointers for working with these two different chart types. Think about how you might want to modify each chart based on modifications that we've made in the past, adding text boxes, adding labels. And also spend some time thinking about the different information we get from each of these chart types. Remember, that's a big part of what we're working on right now. We have the same data set here, but we're producing very different chart types. What do we get from a pie chart that we do or don't get from a stacked column chart? And the key learning outcome here is to understand that it's not just what we can produce using Excel, but what we want to produce based on our own questions or goals about our data. So we'll check up on how you did producing these charts and also how you did assessing what we learned from the two different chart types.